Rock and Roll Travel Show is in Garland, Texas, a quaint community in the Dallas urban sprawl that is known for its giant cowboy hat, a great vibe, and for being a music-friendly Texas certified community. It's in Garland that I caught up with Paul Osborne at Audio Dallas, the recording studio where Willie Nelson recorded his 1975 breakthrough album, Red-Headed Stranger. Paul approaches music recording the good old-fashioned way, and he agreed to give us a tour of his very unique studio. I'm here to meet the owner. This is Paul Osborne. Paul.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This is Audio Dallas Recording Studio. What was it called back in the day?
It was Autumn Sound. Back in the old days. Yeah. It was originally, I think in the mid-'70s.
Yeah.
It was the first 24-track studio in the state of Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long have you owned it?
I bought it in the mid-'90s.
Mid-'90s.
Yeah, so 30-some odd years, I guess.
Well, thanks for agreeing to show me around so I can show our viewers how a real recording studio works.
Absolutely. So there's always a long, winding hall in studios, and that's for soundproofing. And then there's usually rooms like this. This is where we'll do analog transfers. Some people have got old tapes that they want to have digitized.
Nice.
So we'll put them in there and digitize it.
All right.
And this is what we call the Hall of Shame. All of these are pictures of different people. This is a picture of Willie Nelson back whenever he was cutting Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain.
Oh, awesome.
And that's a one-of-a-kind photo. That's not, mass duplicated or anything. And Governor Greg Abbott was kind enough to give the studio a letter of recognition.
Nice.
They gave that to me probably about 6 or 8 months ago.
Well, I'm a huge Beatles fan, so I was very excited to see this.
Yeah, Paul McCartney.
That was
They worked
when?
on, I think, Wings Across America. Oh, that's a newspaper article from 1976 from the Dallas Morning News.
And he was right here.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And of course, Chris Christopherson, and a lot of newer artists.
That is Anne Margaret.
Anne Margaret. This is Jamie Johnson, and of course Charlie Pride. It was always fun working with him.
All right. There's Chris again.
Yep. And
You've had some greats here.
Like Jack Ingram, a rockabilly group, Reverend Horton Heat. I've been fortunate to work with them many times. Back in the day, Vanilla Ice.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people don't realize he's from Texas, from the Dallas area.
Dallas guy.
There you go. Ice Ice Baby.
So, a great blues guitar player named Jim Suler. He's George Thorogood's guitar player.
Oh.
Very good friend and a incredible slide guitar player.
Awesome. Bad to the bone.
Yep. And this is the tracking room. We have individual booths that we may put an acoustic guitar player back there. We may put a steel guitar or a fiddle player or a vocalist in that booth. And that room all shuts off, and we may put a saxophone out there and grand piano.
And so explain why each instrument is in its own little area.
Well, we do things like they did it in the old days. Everyone tracks at one time, full band in here. And that way they can kind of feed off of each other and create the music as they go. So
like the old days, right?
Like the old days.
Yeah.
So if we're tracking and we get a really good drum track and we have a fiddle player in there and a guitar player in there, and let's say the guitar player makes a mistake on the second verse. Well, if they're all in the same room, they all kind of go into bleeding each other's mics, and we have to do the whole take with everybody over again.
Mm-hmm.
This way, we can just plug in the part that the guitar player made the mistake on.
Right. Now, this is different from other studios. How?
Well, the fact that we got some isolation and the fact that we can set up with a full band. A lot of the production that you hear these days, they'll start out with a click track, with a drum track or a bass guitar track, a guitar track, and then they'll go in and add the stuff sometimes several weeks or a month later.
Mm-hmm.
We do it all at one time, and it usually takes us 45 minutes to an hour to do one song from start to end.
That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. And of course, they're great players.
Yeah.
They're literally some of the best in the country. So, but we use real instruments as opposed to synthesized or samples. Use a
Thank you.
real grand
Thank you.
piano, real
No,
Hammond B3.
I am 100% a fan of real authentic music. Even in the 80s, which was my era, growing up, I just have never liked synthesized music that
Yeah,
much.
absolutely.
I mean, I can dance to it, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, but I'm just saying,
I can with my two left feet.
yeah, right. To me, it's just not quote unquote real music.
Right.
And I love what you're doing here.
Yeah. So real drum kits. We pride ourselves that we are an acoustic instrument based recording studio. You hear all the other music, and some of it's AI.
Yeah.
We've
Yuck.
been we've been AI for years, and that's analog intelligence, not artificial. It's the
Yeah.
real thing.
So you've got some real creativity here.
Absolutely.
Now, you said you've got some of the best musicians in the
Absolutely.
world here. So that your house band you're
Uh-huh.
referring to?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
My steel player and fiddle player, he was on the road for years with the Eagles.
Oh,
So
wow.
and played a lot with Don Henley, great players, and
What's his name?
Milo Daring.
Milo
So
Dury.
he's an incredible guy and been a dear friend for
Yes, and
almost my entire life.
we will note Don Henley is from Texas. There
Mhm.
are some pretty solid Texas connections in the Eagles.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we do it all. We do it all like it should be in the old
Yeah.
days. A lot of times people will go back and they'll listen to the older music and they're like, "How can we make our music sound like that? And what kind of plug-in do we need to use?" I'm like, "There's not a plug-in for authentic, great musicians. They just play it." And
Amen,
yeah,
brother.
so a lot of people are blown away with the sound that we get, and they're like, "You're good." And I'm like, "No, the guys are good. I just mic them up and record them." So
Yeah.
it's my honor to work with them, and we still do it old school, reel to reel tape and the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
We use vintage mics. Most of my mics are from some of them go back to the 30s, 1930s, and
Let's take
50s
a
and
look at some of these.
60s.
Okay. Well, because that's it in the recording process. Every piece of that puzzle contributes to the sound, right?
Absolutely, yeah. This is a vintage Telefunken long body U-47. It's all original. Um, I think it was made in 1958. They sell upwards of $20,000 these days.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
And was it all here when you bought the
Oh
studio?
no, no, it was an empty
You,
building. It was in pretty bad shape when I took it
oh,
over. It took me a long time to get it back the way it should have been.
yeah.
Back in the day, they had shag carpet. Of course, we took that out and put in wood floor. And um, I showed you a picture in the hallway of Willie, and he was sitting right here whenever he was doing most of his tracking.
Nice.
And so this is where all the magic happened.
Well, I might add, Willie had 8 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, which makes him vintage pop for my
He
purposes,
is more than vintage. He's the godfather.
including Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. It went to number 21 on the pop charts and was
Wow.
recorded right here on his Redheaded Stranger album, which is pretty darn cool to
Absolutely.
be in this space.
Yeah, I'm lucky that people come from literally all over the world here to record and to try to sit in the same places and try to capture the same type sound that they did back in the 70s, back when Willie Nelson recorded here.
Yeah.
I think he recorded a total of 3 different albums here.
Wow.
But yeah, come on in here and I'll show you the control room.
Now, this studio with the cypress and stuff, was it like this
Yes.
before? So it was like this back in the 70s.
Yep.
Nice.
I think the fabric had butterflies or something, some sort of design on it, and it was a little too busy, so I took that down and just kind of put more of a
Oh, man,
neutral.
butterflies?
It
You
was.
deleted
I got rid
butterflies?
of the butterflies.
Ah,
And this area here was like cork, like some sort of cork material that was on the walls. That area
well, and
back
explain why soft surfaces
Well,
in the studio.
let me think. If you go into a gymnasium or a large foyer that has a lot of marble, you'll hear the sound echo around and give a real reverb sound. But when you record, if you have too much of that, it makes the sound too muddy.
Yeah.
So situations like this is what they call a tuned room.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of that ambience, but there's also a little bit of padding and soft material around to soak up some of that. There's also bass traps all around the building where the sound goes out through the roof,
Oh,
as
cool.
opposed to there being any standing bass waves and frequencies that'll get in the way. So
Yeah.
this studio was built as a studio, and I think they told me the previous owner told me that I think in 1972 or 73 they started out with a blank warehouse, and they spent over 350,000 building it back then. So
Wow.
yeah, but the foundations float. This is a separate foundation than the hallway. This foundation is separate from that. This foundation is separate from that. So they're individual rooms. And if you look at the walls, I don't know what, 20, 24 inches wide. And then there's, soft material here to keep this wall from touching that one. So you can literally go in the back room and you can scream at the top of your lungs. And if you're in here, you won't hear a thing.
Oh, cool. So what does the individual floating floors get you?
Okay, let's say we have a drum kit out
Mm-hmm.
there and we have a vocalist here. And the drummer's hitting the bass drum and it's real loud. It actually vibrates the concrete floor.
Oh, okay.
Well, since that foundation is separate from this one, it doesn't transfer to this room.
Gotcha.
So if it was all same foundation, and the concrete starts to vibrate from the instruments, it'll transfer out here and go into the vocal mic.
Yes. Okay. Very interesting. I just don't think normal music lovers know these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. And then here's where a lot of the magic happens.
This is where the fun happens. This is the Neve console. Of course, it takes as much energy to keep it going these days because it's old and it's vintage. Just keeping it in usable order is a task, but it's one that we feel like is worth it. I have the same plugins in my digital audio workstations as some of these EQs, but yet these sound different. There's just something about the depth of them, and it's more three-dimensional. So again, this is a Neve console. It's very old. It's vintage. It's got the sound. It was, real transformers, real, a lot of discrete electronics, and it has a certain sound. A lot of this stuff I have the same plugins in my digital audio workstation, so I could really use either one.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do. I do a lot of hybrid recording, but it's just something about the warmth of the console, and it's more of a dimension thing. It's almost like you can almost hear the different layers of dimensions whenever you do things through a console.
Well, about what year was this console
I think
produced?
This is probably a 74 model, maybe 75. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But it's definitely old.
All right. Well, because I think your normal music lover has no idea. They look at all these buttons and go, whoa, holy moly, how do you even make sense of that? Can you just give us like kind of a quick rundown about how each...
Sure. Yeah, it's a lot more simpler than it looks. So basically there's line inputs and mic inputs up here. And then the signal goes down and it'll go through a high pass, low pass filter. These are compressors and gates.
Yeah, that sounds very simple.
It is. And then this is the equalizer section. That's where you add the bass, the treble, or the mid range. And then these are the bus sends, the way I use it, that feeds the 2-inch tape machine. And then these faders here are playback.
Okay, so if you're in the studio and they've just played whatever and you want to hear it, that's like your volume control to listen?
Yeah, like say if I want to turn up the guitars, I would turn up these two faders. But yeah, I mean, it's all pretty simple.
Now,
you just have to learn one of them.
Each microphone is one row.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you just learn one row, and then it's that times 48, or this is 60.
Well, how do you keep them all straight? You got a vocal mic, guitar.
Yeah.
How do you know which one is which?
30 years of experience. So, and I do things the same way pretty much on 90% of my sessions. There'll always be kick, snare, hat, and just I don't even put tape down anymore because I know where things are.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll process it. It'll go through here, through this outboard here, which is some Class A Neves and some Tube Tech compressors. These are vintage Uri compressors, and of course Lexicon reverbs. So a lot of this old stuff has got tubes in it, so it gives it a real warm sound. And then it'll leave that, go to the bus ends, and it comes in here to this room to the 2-inch tape machine.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Now, what year approximately was this a common piece of equipment?
I would say the early 70s. And then we would transfer it from that to a program like this. There's a lot of different digital workstations.
So is this the point at which it gets digitized? So then you can
exactly
work
this is
2000 style.
Yeah, I mean, there's Pro Tools, there's Logic. I prefer Luna. I have a choice of any workstation I want, but Luna to me is made by Universal Audio, and it sounds more like that stuff. So
yeah.
So this is my preferred choice of workstations.
Okay.
And then of course we have different speakers. These are the horrible sounding NS10s.
Why do you have horrible sounding ones?
Well, the word on the street back in the early days was if you could make something sound good on those, it's going to sound good anywhere.
Aha.
So we'll mix a lot on the NS10s, and of course I use Adams monitors, and then those are tannoys up in the wall.
And those are for playback. Okay.
And then the center computer is the flying faders, and everything still works. It's this is all vintage stuff, but believe it or not, it still works, and it runs on I think a 286 or 386 computer.
No way.
With Windows 2.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I really like that.
Yeah. So I'm the lucky one. I get to do this. I do it every day. I've been doing it for over 30 years. I get to hear some of the people that I listened to as a kid on the radio. I get to record them, and they ask me what I think, and I tell them what they think they can do better, and they redo it, and then at the end of the day, they give me money. It didn't get better than
right.
this.
I mean, they say do what you love, and you don't have to work a day in your life. You get
Absolutely.
to. So, are you able to say what kind of the artists who come in here or that you've worked with, or is it like?
I would say that the biggest success was back during the R&B days. That's when the major labels was willing to gamble and spend on an artist. We did, Keith Sweat, Joel Levert, Silk, Casey and JoJo. I mean, those are kind of the pop R&B groups that we did.
Yeah.
And then, a lot of the main rap artists came here and recorded, but also people, Anne Margaret. I mean,
yeah.
I'll never forget listening to her and hearing her golden voice, and have her go out there and sing, and hearing that same voice, and me remembering what it sounded like when I was a kid. So
yeah,
it's a privilege to get to do what I do.
And what about in the vintage pop genre before your time here? What do you know about the artists who performed here? We know about Willie.
And I think I want to say there was heard stories of David Allen Coe that I can't.
Oh wow!
There's a lot of Willie stories that I can't tell, but of course I'm sure over the years they've added color to the stories.
Probably, yeah.
But definitely Willie spent a lot of time here, and that's what the studio was probably known best for.
Yeah.
Some of the engineers that are literally my mentors was Phil York, and he was the engineer on all the Willie Nelson sessions. So, I got to work a lot with Phil, and he would come in here and we would produce records together. So, I'm the lucky one to get to work with some of these people and to hear their stories. Some of probably the most moving stories I've ever heard was Chris Christopherson sitting in that chair and me sitting here, and my wife sitting in the back chair. And we sat in here for probably 2 or 3 hours, and he just told stories about him and Johnny Cash, and
oh wow,
stories that you don't hear on television interviews, but you hear them face to face and see, and then the emotions on Chris Christopherson's face was just phenomenal.
He seemed like he was a really nice guy.
He
I mean,
was
did he have a big heart
a
like he
huge
seems
heart, and
to?
he was sincere. There was nothing fake about him. He didn't. A lot of artists, you see them on stage, and you think, yeah, they're kind of putting on a show. They weren't like that in the studio, but
Mm.
what you see with Chris Christopherson is what he really was, and he
Oh.
was a gem. And that's one of the highlights of my life is getting to sit right next to him, just with him and I in the room, and hearing him tell stories about um, Janis Joplin and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they were an item back in the day for a while. It was a rough show at the time for both of
Well,
them,
I know
but
that there's a lot of history.
yeah.
With
And you got
Chris.
to share in that. That is really special.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights. So, but anyhow, it's a pretty simple process. At the end of the day, it's not about the buttons or the console or the gear. It's about the talent, and we can have all the buttons and knobs and compressors and auto tune in the world, but if you don't have the talent going into the mic, it's I'll just say the talent makes all the difference in the world, and I'm the lucky one that gets to listen to them every day.
It sure does. Now, do record companies hire you or do the artists hire you?
It's usually the record companies.
Okay.
I work for Electro Records, um, Sony, Def Jam, um, pretty much all the major labels, RCA, they all will hire me for working on projects.
Yeah, when they're looking for that authentic vintage sound.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What kind of bands are looking for that these days?
I think it's going back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think that we've heard so much processed sound that sounds great when you hear it, but when you hear them live, and you're like, that's not really what the record sounded like. So I think people are kind of getting tired of that, and they're looking for real roots, believable music, something that you can hear the emotion in. I always tell people I can help do a little bit of tuning and a little bit of compression, but I don't have a plug-in that puts feeling into a song. That has to come to the artist. I think that's what people are looking for these days.
Thank you so much. I've been saying it. I think we are saturated with fake stuff. I don't think it resonates with our souls. I think people are looking for it. It's one reason why I'm taking a chance trying to do this little show and show the old stories about the old music and the old talent, because I think people are craving it.
They are. And a lot of times, even rock bands, they'll come in here and they'll be like, we're kind of tired of all the digital sound and the perfection. Can we just set up mics and play and record it to 2-inch and mix it and it be what it was? And that's how the hits were done.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to achieve that sound of the vintage pop music and the vintage rock music and the music from the day, and they're realizing it wasn't really that complicated. It was all about the talent and being able to capture it. So,
Yeah. Well, I am so pleased to hear that from your perspective, because you're right in it, doing it, making the music today.
Absolutely.
And that means a lot to me personally.
It's always my honor to be involved and try to sow a seed of authentic music for the future that might grow into something bigger for somebody.
Yeah. Amen to that, Paul.
Awesome. Well,
thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Wait,
Absolutely.
Is there anything I didn't ask you that is kind of basic that I should have asked you?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
I think we covered it.
This is one of the things that we do pride ourselves on. Is this has always been a family facility. My wife worked here. She raised our kids here. My kids would call them down the aisles with in diapers and have toys sitting everywhere, and Charlie Pride would come in and they'd crawl up and sit in his lap, and he would, just the beauty of having my family be a part of this, because without the family, I wouldn't have had any success at all.
Yeah.
So, luckily, I've been fortunate. My family's been behind me. Never forget the first platinum record I got. I took it to my dad and said, "Dad, here's a platinum record that's got my name on it." He looked at it and looked it up down, handed it back to me. He said, "Never heard of him," but
Uh,
but he still stood behind me. So I was,
dads can be like that,
yeah, yeah.
He
always wanted me
he
to
was
do
proud
better.
of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, that was an amazing tour, and I really think it will be valuable for people who love this stuff but don't even really know how all these things work. And I love what you're doing. Do you think that music will continue to become more authentic or just go more AI? Do you think people care? Because that's the question. It's like, can they tell AI from authentic? Can they even tell? And if they can tell, do they care? That's what I'm worried about.
Chances are they can't tell.
Yeah.
Chances are they're listening to a cell phone speaker. But we're also getting back to a point where a lot of people are finding turntables in their attics and big speakers and starting to pick it up, and they're starting to realize the depth of the recordings, of analog recordings and vintage recordings. And there is a difference. That's when you hear the differences, when you hear it on a big system. And nothing wrong with AI. If you want to embrace that and use it as a songwriter, that's great. But chances are most of the stuff that you hear come out of major labels is it's not AI, it's the real thing. So it's okay if you were sitting in your bedroom trying to create a song. And I've heard some incredible stuff, and I'm like, wow, it's a great band. Who is this? He's like, all AI. I'm like, I
know. Well, I've written tons of lyrics myself, but I don't have the music to hear the melodies. So I'm tempted to do it, even though I'm kind of like, I mean, I use AI, but I don't want to see it take over all the artistic things. That to me is so depressing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like poetry or art. I mean, I'm sure that there's AI that could create Picasso.
Right. I mean,
but there's something about the soul of a real Picasso that it's just lacking.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's true. And it's like, so I'm a Beatles lover. I love all the music, but I love the Beatles. But part of the reason why I love them and other bands is because you know their backstory, you know what they came from, you know what they went through to get to where they are. And it all contributes to your feeling for that music. And then if you've just got someone pushed a button and it's a song, it's kind of like it just loses its heart. It could have a nice beat, make me dance, which is cool. But you just don't have the heart behind the music. And to me, I can't imagine a world.
I know. I can still remember getting a Kansas album or a ZZ Top record and playing it and listening to 30 minutes of incredible music, having to flip it over and spending 30 minutes enjoying it. And spending 2 hours reading the liner notes. It's like, oh, they did this, they did that,
And we've already kind of lost that, even with the CDs, you had some notes, back in the day, and now it's like. But I think too that live real music has a place because AI can't replicate on a stage.
Absolutely.
In a live performance, and you cannot fake that energy of real music with real people all in sync, all in heart coherence, listening to amazing music. So I think we'll always have real music. That's that's my prediction.
No
Do you
doubt.
agree?
Let me think. It's art. It's like trying to create a masterpiece. It's Michelangelo. It's Beethoven. It's Picasso. It's John Wayne. It's it's authentic art. It's talent, and we're starting to see that come back. Our bookings are like doubled probably in the last year or 2 years and a half.
Oh, hooray! I really love to hear that. Now, if I don't know who watches this, but how do people find you?
Just reach out. Go to audiodallas.com, and there's a page to send us an email, and it'll usually be myself or one of our team members that answers. So, and it's usually right away. So we stay on top of it.
I love it. Well, I'm so glad I found you, and I appreciate the tour. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it.
You bet. Thanks so much for watching, and please take a second to like and subscribe.